Bright Tuty. Every student matters.
Okay. What does toasted English refer to in American restaurants? So in American restaurants, toasted English has been used for the English muffins. What has happened as a result of toasting of English in America? So what is the result of toasting the language English in America? They have made the language very simple by removing the usage of passive voice. Okay. How have the Americans simplified the language? Give examples. So like I told you, they have made the language simpler by removing the passive voice. They've asked us to give them examples. So there are a lot of examples which are given to you in your book only. I'll show you, I'll take you to that place. Yes. So rather than ceremoniously saying trespassing prohibited, what can be said simply? Newly planted, do not walk, or absolutely no planting. Similarly, outside some landscape, rather than writing a 20-line inscription, they simply write 3 words, which is do not enter. Then in order to inform the people about somebody who's very prominent and important somewhere, what did they do? Mark Stevens, keep out. So this is how in the simplest manner they convey the most important messages. What does the author mean by the American national expression? So why did the author use the word American national expression? For the word okay. So the writer told us, for the word check. So the word check has been referred to as the American national expression because this word check is used in multiple contexts by the Americans. I will check means to look out for something. Check in and check out are used for the hotels. Check room is a place where you can keep your belongings. Check girl is a girl who looks after your umbrellas and the other possessions. And he also tells us that check is one word that you can utter without thinking and yet be sure that it is going to fit in perfect. The author approves and disapproves of American English in certain senses. Give examples to elaborate. So there are different examples through which the author has approved. He likes the usage of the English language and he disapproves the usage of English language also. We have to explain it with the help of examples. Now these 3 examples only. How do we know that he approved it? The first example, trespassing prohibited. Rather than saying this, we can simply say newly planted do not enter or parking not allowed. Similarly, rather than writing a 20-line inscription outside some landscape, it can simply be said do not enter. But what he disapproved was when he read Mark Stevens, keep outside some studio. And the thought that came to his mind was that if this person did not want to be disturbed, then why did he in the first place announce his presence by writing his name? So this is something that he did not approve of. How, according to the author, can the mongrelization of English be prevented? So this is what we read in the last paragraph. According to the author, the mongrelization of English can be prevented in our country, that is in India, by making sure that all the laws and all the English grammar rules are followed there. How does the author visualize Bharat English? So how can he think? What does he think about the English language used in Bharat? According to him, this language is going to have a Swadeshi stamp. It is going to be used everywhere from dusty streets to under the banyan tree to the market. and will also make use of the grammar and the laws of grammar. Okay. Humor is the quality of a literary or informative work that makes the character and or situation seem funny or amusing or ridiculous. So what is humor? Humor is a literary device with the help of which we make something look very funny and amusing. So in this chapter also there are multiple places where humor is being used. Now, what are those examples of using humor? First, again, like I told you, they have repeatedly talked about the usage of simplest terms, simplest phrases, rather than using something in a very ceremonious manner. So, rather than saying trespassing prohibited, newly planted, keep out. Similarly, rather than writing a 20-liner inscription with all the subsections and the sections which are totally going to be, not possible for you to understand, just 3 words, do not enter. Then he talked about the presence of Mark Stevens in a room, and the outside of the room said, Mark Stevens, keep out. These are the few examples through which he talks about, he's incorporated humor, the funny element in the story. Then he talked about the fact that check is a word, you may speak it anywhere under any circumstances and yet be sure that it is going to fit in perfectly. Then he also talks about the refinement of the language. So he was saying that since the language is very refined, when you are standing in the middle of the path, blocking somebody else's path, the person may want to ask you that why are you looking at the whole world and that too in the middle of the line, in the middle of the, the path. What is usually said is, excuse me. Similarly, when a receptionist asks you, can I help you? What she wants to mean is that, why have you come here? Please get out. You must have come here for a wrong reason. So this is how the language has been made very polite. Do you agree that we need a Bharat brand of English? Why? Yes, I totally agree with R.K. Narayan that we do need a Bharat brand of English. We all know why, because we know that English is a universal language. We understand that English is one language that people of every religion can use. So it basically unites the people. It keeps the people together. You may not be able to understand each other's regional language, but English is one common connect between everyone. And if we are going to have a Bharat brand of English, then that would make the usage of it more comfortable for the people rather than what they learn, and at times the difficulties that are being faced by them in learning the American English is going to be just they would be able to get rid of it. How? Because the Bharat brand of the language will be introduced. Give examples of Indian words that have been incorporated into the English dictionary. So this is something that needs to be researched by you. Those Indian words that have been added in the English dictionary, you can find them. While using English for social or business communication, what skills should one master according to you? So according to you, when you are using the language for some social or for some business purpose, what are some skills that you need to keep in mind? Obviously, you need to be very confident. Your body language needs to be perfect. It needs to be immaculate. Then the way you are standing or sitting while talking to the other person is again very, very eminent. Then the usage of correct grammar is very important. The usage of the correct vocabulary in context to the statement is very important. So this is what we need to keep in mind when talking or when speaking English. And with this, my dear students, we come to the end of the chapter.